Check, check. What's up? What's up? Hey, I tried to play some Sep Rock beats the old-fashioned way. Been having some audio issues. I think my voice is coming through. Do you guys hear music? I don't think the music's coming through. I don't know. Whatever. Gotta start the show. Can't keep messing with it. Let's see. Maybe. Hold on. Let me try one thing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's coming through. Anyway, Sep Rock beats. Um, Alright, let me show you what is up though. Yeah, because it was supposed to work, but it didn't work. Alright, Separate Beats, trying to play the double album. It's actually been out since 2017. And he's working on new music. I'm gonna connect you guys to that. That's too bad. Had the record player, everything set up, turntable, whatever. But alas, thus is the void. It's sort of in disarray right now. Shop studio still disarray. A lot of things in flux. It's okay. It's okay. A lot of things. Not only my life, the world, the nation, many things. Moving around, changing. Um, but one thing for sure, though, it seems like even though it may be late, even though it may not be exactly when you expect it. The void goes on Tuesday nights, and whether I don't know, sometimes whether we want to or not. But I think we got to deal with issues whether we want to or not, and if we can shield ourselves for a while, and things sometimes seem like they're working out, and then I don't know. After a while, I don't know, they don't work out so well anymore. Um, but anyway, so I understand there are some people interested in what's up with the show, what's happening, or at least what are we gonna have a show tonight, especially about the election, I guess. Um, I am oddly unmoved by the election. Just what do I expect? I don't know. I don't. Do we really believe? I don't know. It feel like I don't know. I don't even know how to express myself with this stuff. I feel like Americans have this weird culture of that we are this patriotic. Well, I mean, we're of course patriotic, but we have this notion that we have this exceptional capacity for democracy, and it's like ingrained in us. And I don't believe that's really true. I don't think people really believe that's true either. I don't think most Americans believe that's true. That's what I feel like is driving people crazy because we have to talk out of two sides of our mouths, and if you have to wear a facade constantly, it will grind you down. Like it'll wear you out because that's like, look, put it this way. How many people are really good at acting, right? I mean, how many superstar actors are there? There are really not that many, right? So think about it. There's not that many people that can convincingly act like in general, or maybe there are, but they can't do it on command or whatever. I don't know. It seems pretty rare because they seem to be very famous, and there's relative few of them, and um, they're expensive to get them to do stuff. So, and maybe it's a combination of things. Of course, the market dictates things, so you have to be pleasing to the eye, perhaps, and maybe that leaves the rest of the folks that aren't so pleasing to the eye to fool those around us. And perhaps there are some Oscar winners all around. But part of that is being an American. Part of that is sort of, I think, it's patriotic duty to sort of suck up, instead of saying yeah, we got a problem. What are we doing about it, fellow Americans? Like, and then even me saying that is almost like, oh, what are you saying, James? What are you saying? What do you mean? What are you going to do about it? What does that mean? Okay, does that mean electoral politics? I don't know. Are we trying that? Is that even working? I don't think it's working. It's been hijacked. We know that. If you can buy the election machines, then you can buy the election. If you can buy, uh, you know, the statistics, if you can buy the algorithm, then you can buy the election. Um, you know, it's we're in a situation where the inequality of that, like wealth, really in general, and resources and power are so vast that um, basically like whole institutions can likely be purchased. You know what I mean? That's what I think. I don't know. But I do notice there's some comments trickling in on the live chat. By the way, for those of you tuning in, thank you so much for tuning in. 3 people currently with us in on the live discussion. And for those of you in the future, put some comments down. Your future thoughts in the future world are important. In which case, we will go back over them in the future present, which will be in the future of your future, even because it will be in response to your question. Anyway, this discussion transcends time, so let's discuss it as if the discussion transcends time. Haha, novel. It's not novel idea, but let's just pretend. Okay, so Superfan Chris is on. What is up, Superfan Chris? Welcome to the show. And Michael Weingardner, what is up? It's been a little while. Thank you for joining. He says, so Superfan Chris says, yo, good evening. Michael Weingardner, I'm seeing my Trump supporting friends and family experience a full break from reality, just full delusional since Saturday. Michael W., not all of them, but sadly a slim majority. Yes, slim majority, I see. Superfan Chris says, this has been a rather interesting election for sure. Way too many questions that need to be answered. No doubt, no doubt. Like I said, man, anything can be bought. Here's the thing. I think there's another layer of, we get, I mean, I don't know. There's another layer to the onion that we need to talk about when we start talking about election fraud or election nearing, election politics and ballots and I think that there's something even bigger out there. I think that's a little game. Um, it's like you got to think of it more like um, when you're in student government. Remember when you're in school and you got student body, student government thing, and there's like you get to do certain things, right? And you get to like choose maybe if you're lucky you get to choose like the school lunch, or you get to choose from like I don't know, tire swing or seesaw. Like you get to make some executive choices, or you get to do steward a couple little things, right? But you got big ass bumpers. It's not like you can, raise ad valorem taxation on municipal taxes. You know what I mean, on homeowners in the district. You know what I mean? It's not like, yeah, look, I'm the president of the school. School needs more money, and the budget is not being allocated right. I think the executives and administrative branch of the school system is not working properly. And also, I believe that parents should have less of an individual say in their schooling, in the school system, and if they have issues, it should be brought up to a board or a general consensus. Can't have these parents that are like hijack. I mean, I talked to many school administrators, teachers, even to some degree, even some students that talk about these domineering, crazy parents that insist on crazy shit. You know, the kid is going nuts. The kid can do no wrong, number one. And so when the teacher tries to say, look, your kid is doing this and that and it's interrupting, blah blah, they're like, they don't care, and the kid doesn't care, and nobody cares, and then nobody learns, and blah blah. That can't happen. They can't just let things happen because one or two parents that may be influential in some way can basically steer whole schools. I mean, but this is where we're sort of manufacturing citizens. You know what I mean? We got to take it seriously. We've got one political faction actively trying to defund it, and then you got another political faction puts on airs about identity politics and some of. I mean, there's definitely some unwinding of a spring that needs to be unwound for sure. As far as a whitewashing of history, white supremacy in history, blah blah. Just because, I mean, that's, look at old texts and stuff. I mean, if you say otherwise, you're basically, I mean, there's historic evidence that this country has had racism at its core since the founding, and it's been a struggle and fight to eradicate it. That's basically the story of America. Part of it, anyway, background, or the backdrop. Anyway, chat is lit. What is up? Superfan Chris says, seems every election cycle there is something suspect about the vote counts. In the age of technology, why can't we simply vote with our smartphones via secure type connection? Yeah, but they say it's secure. Somebody always knows the back door. The tech company. I mean, we're also, see, that's what I was saying. Look, I was going on this rant about school. Remember, I was talking about school government. Drink with me, by the way. Tonight, I don't know. I don't remember what it was even in this. Seltzer water. All right, look. There's so much that president, senators, whoever can do. They'll make you have an accident and you will no longer be around, or your family, somebody you know or love, or somebody. There are bumpers to this. So vote. It doesn't matter who wins. There's a reason why Bernie wasn't chosen. Bernie would have won in a landslide, right? Why wasn't Bernie chosen? Not because I'm a Bernie fan. I just saw what the results were. They were a la Trump, except more populist, and he wasn't as crazy, right? If you even think he's crazy, it's because he keeps repeating himself as opposed to saying nonsense, weird ramblings and shit. You know what I mean? Though, I mean, I definitely have a lot of criticisms for Bernie. It's just like, look, I mean, we had Biden and fucking Trump. These are the shittiest, some of the shittiest politicians. Like politicians, not even just presidents, the shittiest politician. I mean, Biden's a buffoon. If he had good days, they're behind him. Trump, fucking garbage human. The greatest grifter. I mean, you gotta give him credit. He's the greatest con man, the greatest grifter. I mean, what would be a greater grift than the presidency? To con your way to the presidency. What else? What do you want? You want to con your? I mean, he's conned himself to CEO. He's conned himself to head of a university. He's conned himself. Yeah, all the cons fall apart, just like the presidency's falling apart. But I mean, of course, there's an infrastructure that hold everything afloat. I mean, it's just like you have a shitty student body president. It's not like the school falls apart. You have apparatus to keep it fucking floating because there's people concerned about what the hell's going on. At least on one hand, we at least have to house these children for some number of hours while the parents figure out a way to be productive, quote unquote productive, members of society as really, at the end of the day, if you look at the net effect of what's going on as wage slaves, and they all have to contribute. And the more you can squeeze the family, the more you can uh, squeeze out. I mean, because you look at the net, you got to look at it as these people are playing a board game with all of the people, like as if it's a, you got to think about it like it's a video game. They're looking at it like, using the people, how much of the people, how much production is coming out of the people, and how can you maximize it, right? That's, in some ways, that's how some of these quote unquote architects of society think. And you might be like, well, who the hell are these people? Well, these are the think tank people. These are the people that are advising. Um, there's all sorts of cobwebs back there. You guys already know about that shit. You see it on TV. You read about it. It some of you may even have firsthand knowledge of some of this stuff. But anyway, I digress. Let's see what else they say. Oh yeah, but smartphones hacked. Samsung probably is hacking your phone. iPhone technology, probably Apple probably sold it already to China. China's probably already infiltrated iPhones a long time ago. We can transfer money from our phones to accounts all over the world. Look at people we don't know on social media, but we're still voting with ballpoint pens, paper, for something as big as it. Yeah, no doubt. There has to be a happy medium. You're right. There are definitely some fail points or flaws in some technological, or at least some technologies, but there are ways for us to do this and make it work. And yes, absolutely, we can make it happen. Otherwise, I mean, if we our electric infrastructure, our banking infrastructure, our military infrastructure, all of those things would be falling apart due to hackers and malevolent digital forces, if otherwise. So there are ways that we can make secure elections, right? It's again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter who. Does it matter who is student body president? To the principal, does it matter who the student body president? To the principal, to the mayor, do they care, right? Who the student body president is? Do they care how you counted the votes? Do they care about that? They don't care about that frivolous shit. Just pick some fucking person so that they can go through the motions of being this person. Same with all the politicians. It's all the same shtick. That's why they're all worthless, stupid morons. Like, why would you send this person to represent this person? Look at each of these representatives and say, do I believe that this person represents me? Like, this guy, yeah, a guy or gal is smart enough or astute enough or articulate or whatever shit, whatever is important to you. Big, loving, compassionate, I don't fucking violent, I don't know, whatever it is that you love in your politician, is if they think of whether or not they embody that, and if not, then realize that your representation goes into that. If you even believe that voting is real, if it even is, I mean, it might be tampered with, and it could be completely tampered with, and how would you even know? I mean, you can read as much shit as you want. People are so ready to lie. There's no kind of integrity anymore. If there ever was, which I feel like there was, and I talk to more and more people, and people feel like there was an intrinsic sort of spirit to, like, journalism, or being what it meant to be an American, or having community, what that meant, and that there was actually an essence or spirit. At one point, it wasn't that it was all a ruse that we're looking back through rose-colored lenses. That there was something, but I feel like there's not much anything, and there's an alienation that's been happening that causes that. And now we're going to go down the the big elephant in the room that is causing even the Biden and the Trump, the fact that we're all so exhausted and busy that we could have sock puppets like paraded out, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, and paint them just different colors, and have some identity politics shit and virtue signal about military and police, and one side, and then virtue signal about how military and police are bad on the other side, and then virtue signal about how you love God, and virtue signal about how you want to do stuff that apparently God doesn't like, and the God lovers are not loving you, and the God lovers people are wanting to make sure that everyone lives the way they do. So they want to make rules that ensure that. And so we have like it's just this hodgepodge of shit. But anyway, all right. So this isn't Michael W. says for sure, but there are election officials of all stripes that are saying this is not a widespread fraud. Yeah, I have this feeling. I mean, people are up to the wazoos trying to make sure that shit they don't want to get caught up in shenanigans. I mean, for the most part, certainly nothing that would overturn the results from multiple states. Michael W. This isn't down to one state and a few votes like 2000. Trump lost, but any lessons we can learn and any improvements we can make should be made. Unless we are to believe the Republican official in Georgia and other places are in on the conspiracy. Superfan Chris, true that. I don't think this will die down anytime soon. The media right now is looking real suspect. It seems like, though, unless the reports about supposedly 7 million votes as far as actual voting, um, supposedly, uh, is that true? If so, I mean, I don't know. I've seen reports about media, this and that, but even Fox News is bowing or bending the knee to Biden, it seems. So unless there really is some fraud, maybe there's some fraud. Let's find it. Let's see if there's enough um, to what's it called litigate. I would assume there's going to be evidence that's needed and presented, and during discovery they will be just trying to discover something. I would guess. Okay. All right. Me voting full digital scares me. Reasons he can't articulate. hmm he's worried about the techies manipulating it. Michael W. Dude needs concede the elections. What should happen is absurd. I think, yeah, I mean, look, if he's got evidence for fraud, then he should definitely pursue it. However, he should present his evidence. If he doesn't have evidence, this is in the poorest taste. This is just it's you have to let the nation and the Trump, I guess, they have to hit rock bottom. They have to shrink before they can get bigger. They have to be. It's gonna have to get. Who knows? It might get uglier. It's really about. I think it's about. There's narratives going on right now, and it doesn't really matter. It doesn't. It doesn't matter what's happening. Remember, you got to think about this like this is like the student body presidents feuding over who really won the vote and who do we count, and do we count the cheerleaders twice or whatever. It's did we count the volleyball team? They're on an away game. Oh, they sent their ballots in early. They're in a folder on Mrs. Harvey's desk. Oh shit, Mrs. Harvey's not in till 8 in the morning tomorrow. Oh fuck, how are we gonna know what the election results are? I don't know, but right now I'm winning, so let's just don't even count it anymore. I don't know. I mean, is that what's happening? Maybe not. I don't fucking know. I don't know. Nobody seems to know. I think it's on purpose. And it doesn't even matter. I mean, if the vote's on Miss Harvey's desk, who fucking cares? The municipal tax is not going to change. Nothing fundamentally is going to change, um, and that's the problem that's happening. In that we are supposed to be voting on more than fucking student body president. It's that the whole shebang has been hijacked, and as an American people, we are supposed to do something about it. If it means hiring the right people and running the right candidates or running ourselves or something to change it with that intrinsic spirit. Um, I mean, if we're not doing that, then we have no one else. We can only talk about the government as if it is a monster that lives in the forest. However, that's the other problem, is trying to fund your campaign. How do you do it? Runforsomething.org or com, org, I don't remember, .net, run for something. Run for something now, I think is what it's called. They will help some people, I guess. I don't know if you have to be I don't know if you have to be ideologically aligned with them, but I don't know. Anyway, what do we got? It matters Michael W. It matters to a certain extent when they can appoint a disaster like Betsy DeVos to Secretary of Education for someone that knows things. Yes, no doubt. And like I said, okay, the student body president can do some things, right? They can choose the lunch menu, right? And let's say they choose peanut butter and jelly sandwiches on Mondays, but they know Timmy, Johnny, and Angie are all allergic to peanuts, but they do it anyway. But they offer a non-peanut version, even though they know when the whole school is full of peanuts in the air with all the chomping kids on these damn peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, it will become this poison place. They care not about these children. They don't care. Now, actually, the school would, because it get litigated. But here's the thing. Yeah, so Betsy DeVos makes some shit happen. Go ahead, sue it. Sue the Department of Education. Yeah, sue the school board because we had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Now, eventually, someone does do that, and then they win. But it probably, I mean, but in real world, I mean, even the kid, I don't know, somehow, some way, this is breaking down as far as peanuts, but it could be something else. I don't know. Hold on. The point is, here's the thing. Why would they care? Why would the elite people, quote unquote elite people, the people that are pulling the strings and whatever, care about Betsy DeVos or your kids or the Department of Education? They don't care about that shit. That could be unplugged for all they give a shit. They don't care. That is you are thinking as if they have rationale and logic in mind as they run the country. You're trying too hard. You can't think that way. You have to. Here's the thing. In the Tao, they say a great general. The Tao. I guess I have to sort of succumb to the idea that I've become a Taoist because I try to practice in my life as much as I can. It's simple and difficult at the same time. Trying to incorporate principles of the Tao. And in the Tao, they talk about a great general will either enter the mind of his enemy, but really, it enters the mind of his enemy, looks through the eyes of the enemy, right? And I feel like these politicians are sort of our enemy, right? the people that are basically trying to screw the American people over, I think we can safely say they would be the enemy. So you have to put their brain in your brain, and the way you have to think about it is what works for the donors, what works for longevity of their political power and prowess, right? It might not even be about a power move. It might just be about whether or not they get clout for that move, right? Or it could be to prevent clout. Like for instance, Nancy Pelosi could withhold cash payouts to Americans because it may help Americans to the point where they look favorably at Donald Trump, right? So instead of helping the American people, she would rather make sure that Trump doesn't have anything to look good for and fuck the American people, right? That's pretty fucked up, right? But that's the kind of shit we're dealing with. Um, how do you overthrow Nancy Pelosi? People are trying to run against her now, and people keep fucking voting for Nancy Pelosi, or she keeps getting installed. I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. All right. So, Superfan Chris, heard some rumor that fired the defense secretary and hired a comrade in order for him to stage a coup. I saw a headline that said he fired the defense secretary, and I thought myself, why would he fire the defense secretary? Great, he's trying to make it so that he can basically try to commandeer the military. People said I was crazy. People said that I am an alarmist. People said that Trump wouldn't do something like that. That's stupid. That's silly, James. I don't know. Is he going to stage a coup? The military is not a monolith. Not everybody supports Trump. Not everybody supports Biden. No, whatever. This, depending on, like, it's too hard to. How do you predict? You can't. You can't predict it. You can't. I mean, somebody can say, people can just look. All you could do, I'm convinced, someone's gonna make a decision. They're gonna stand by this decision about whatever the future is gonna hold. Some shit. I mean, there's only so many within certain reason amount of rational thought that there's certainly only certain paths in reality that it could take. So if some percentage of people pick a path and stand by it, they'll end up right. But we're in a situation where it is so crazy that, there's, I don't know. I don't know. But let's see what happens. Let me see here. Add that to the Secretary of State calling transitioning to a second Trump term today. Meanwhile, heads of state from around the world are calling Biden. Is this reality? It's like we woke up in a movie or something. Yes, right. That's the thing. I think that things are so crazy that most of us don't understand the gravity of what is happening. It's like we are almost the dying toad in the boiling water. The water is about to boil, and we are about to die. Literally, that is what's happening. But I mean, does it do every? Well, okay. I feel like this has to maybe this is something that other generations have felt, and I'm just naive to that, and maybe I need to look at this in a more of a macro historic, multi-generational perspective. And I feel like people just are like, no way, there's something different in the air. America is so divided, people can't even talk to each other. It is getting crazy. And now we have a coup potential. If the military actually does try to do something, half the military may or may not. They have to break the code of command, of chain of command, and some form of military code will have to be broken in order to defect from this coup if it indeed goes through. So, yeah, that's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Superfan Chris said, I've said it once and I'll say it again, believes it's looking awfully beautiful right now. Yep, however, remember that U.S. foreign policy will find you wherever you are because U.S. foreign policy controls the world. Okay, so Superfan Chris says, yes, very weird movie. The writing, as we know, is on the wall, but way too many distractions. The lack of humanity has caused the population to look down instead of up. I have to agree. There is something intangible that is that the super scientifical, mad, uh, statistical folks out there that want us to stick with statistics and science and stuff like this. Look, there is something more cultural afoot that is in need. There is, like I said, something's breaking down, and what is it's either what is something is breaking down, but what is breaking it down? It is the Wetiko virus, psycho-spiritual virus. Look it up, Wetiko. The Native Americans warned us about this, and here we are embracing the very thing that they warned us that would destroy the earth and society. Well, society and the earth itself as a whole, the planet, literally the planet destroyed by, I mean, this is not a new thing, a new age thing or whatever. I mean, maybe new age people talk about it. It's an old ass thing. In multiple cultures. It's also known as Wendigo in other, I don't know, whatever, tribes, cultures, whatever. I don't know much about that part. Anyway, it's just a general idea. I get the idea. It's like the reading the Tao, right? There's a lot of metaphors and stuff like that, but I get it. I get what, it's weird. Reading the Tao, I feel like so when I read the Tao, I try to apply the Tao when reading the Tao. And so by applying the Tao, I look at it with a blank mind. And I look at it like every time I'm listening or reading, I'm reading it for the first time. Or I'm listening for the first time and I'm trying to look at it from the perspective that I'm given from my place in the universe now. Like I always assume, I hope, that every day that goes by, I'm walking a little bit further down some universal path that I'm going somewhere. And, shit, I lost my train of thought. Damn it, I was thinking too much about the, I lost the Tao thinking about the universal path. Anyway, why was I talking about the Tao? There was a reason. Perhaps the Tao will tell me. Oh, yes. When reading the Tao, I feel like I never really knew much about it. I always associated with the Tao with like Taoist monks who gave up everything to be in one with the Tao, or hippies trying to, like, I don't know, meditate and seek the Tao. I don't know, something like that. I don't really feel that vibe from it at all. I feel like it's a very not sterile, but it's just like talking about some like super deep ethereal concept, right? And I feel like the words that are there are easy to understand, and but I feel like there would be a time in my life when those words would not have made sense at all. That I would have looked at it with not suspicion, but just like, this is gobbledygook. This is silliness. This is frivolous. And I look at it now and I'm like, wow, what a foolish man I was. But in the Tao, we learn, of course, that we are always going to be that way. That's just part of life. That now that means that I'm in a different place. I've taken a different path. I mean, excuse me, I'm further down the path than I was as a younger man that wouldn't understand that. Why? Why does that matter? Well, okay. So part of why that matters, the Tao, is because we have lost our natural path, humanity in general. Americans very specifically. Now, I mean, there's other countries that are really shitty too. I think China probably is up there, but yeah, America for sure has lost the lost touch with the Tao. But again, in using the Tao to read the Tao, I feel like it is almost a uh, flow state to read the Tao. Like it makes sense to where it's not an effort too much to understand where it's trying to go with it. Why does that matter? We'll let the Tao help us out with that. Meanwhile, let's see what is happening in the chat. Yes, indeed. Okay, so look down instead of up. Yes, there is a spiritual problem in our country. We definitely in the world in general. But here's another thing. There is a truth to the American exceptionalism myth that if the United States changes direction for the good, that the rest of the world will change in direction for the good. That is true. That's 100% true. I 100% believe that if America can transform, the entire earth will transform. I don't give a shit about any other country. If it transforms in the right way, if it transforms in a shitty way, fascist way, that kind of shit, we may transform the world. The United States will in a fascist image. And we will live in a rotted core of it. Okay. I agree with you. Underlying military-industrial complex does not and will not change because of the election. No doubt about that. Exactly. The apparatus still exists. You know, the administrators, the superintendent still exists. It doesn't matter who the class president is. Thank you for about the Pelosi point. By the way, we can't forget that Pelosi is always, Schumer, all of them, all of those corporate Democrats are always the one, remember, they're also the ones in charge with the power. They are always more relevant with a Trump in office than not. They are less relevant with a leftist in office. They would just as soon want Trump to lose. You can't, remember, put the enemy's mind into yours. She wants to make sure her legacy is intact. She wants to make sure that she attains and holds the highest position possible for as long as possible. This will benefit her family and whatever other shit floats her little boat, right? If that means losing, or excuse me, the Democrat or whoever, the Biden losing or whoever losing, the Democratic Party losing to Trump, she's all for it. Because what's left? If Bernie became president, now what? Now it's a fight between AOC and Pelosi. AOC has to sort of sit down right now because she can complain and whatever, and now Mama Bear is like leading the charge against Trump. There's only so much we could do. He's so bad, right? She knows that. They know that. They know that the shit's falling apart. They know the empire's falling apart. So what do? Well, what did the rich people do when the Titanic was sinking? I mean, a couple people here and there maybe had a little bit of, couth or whatever, let women and children go forward. But there were plenty that didn't, and they pilfered what they could, I'm sure, stuck what they could in their pockets and grabbed what they could hold, as much of it as they could, paintings, this and that, some value dense items, and loot it before it jumps. Loot it before it sinks, and that's what's going on now. That's what practically every politician at this point is doing, and CEOs and all these people, whoever the Ouija board participants are, they're going to extract, do whatever they can, and make as much as they can, and without regard, because whatever happens, they will find a way with money or technology or whatever it is. They don't care. They'll find their way. They'll find a way. I have a bad feeling it's just like this will all end the same way chattel slavery ended. There will be a need for a movement akin to that. Basically, if we want to see a mitigation, an actually, probably, if we want to see the major problems that we have right now in our country solved, then we need to move towards worker self-directed enterprises. We need to favor them. We need to punish corporations. We need to tax them. And we need to make an offering that if the owners want to give up 85% of their company and full democratic control of their company to their workers, then that 15%, anything they make off of that's tax free. Something like that. I mean, it doesn't have to be that specific thing, but something like that is all. And that will transform our world right there. That will transform it. All right, so let's see. Michael W. is registered independent. Super Frank Chris, in this day and age, it would be extremely difficult for him to turn the military. Well, but there are a lot of military who are pro-Trump and are also retired. The newly fired defense secretary clashed with Trump, Michael W. said, about the use of military domestically, so there's that. We definitely do live in interesting times. Michael W. says, I agree that there's something intangible happening. He also says everyone should read the Tao Te Ching, yes, or Tao Te, I don't know how to pronounce it, Tao Te Ching. Super fan Chris says, divine wisdom for sure, love the Tao. And Michael W. has to go. Good talk, gentlemen. I have to go see you at the Civil War, indeed. I wonder where that will be held and or organized. Very interesting. Very interesting thought. All these LARPing Republicans with their guns and whatever. I wonder if they, I brought this up before, but the reality of the Civil War, do they really want the reality of that? I mean, I know in their minds that they believe that the leftists are these, scared, gun-hating, whatever. And, it's what's going to happen is basically you have this caricature in your mind of who these leftists are, but then you'll realize that if you pull a stunt like Civil War type shit, it's not just lefties or the caricature SJW people, the blue-haired androgynous social justice warrior with piercings and wearing a loose tie over their sweater. Um, yeah, not all of them are like that, and they're not. Maybe they're not picking up a gun, and maybe they're going to be useless in this whole Civil War thing. You're probably right, but there's a whole group of people that aren't like that, that aren't on your side, and they know about guns, and they don't have a problem, despite the propaganda that's made to purposely made to have them avert themselves from guns, right? So that there is a weak side. There always will be a weak side in this propaganda war. But more and more people are getting militant, right? We've seen people who have had to fight their way through their own struggles in rural areas, in urban areas. Uh, those folks that are familiar with firearms, some of those folks are now seeing the collapse for what it is and are turning, and they're seeing the ruse that was being played on them by the Republicans and the Democrats, and they're ready to have at it. If it means the boogaloo starts and moves along, then they'll go with it, you know. So I don't know. I just don't know. But I think I will leave you with that tonight. Looks like you superfan Chris is going to be stepping out for the night as well. So I'm going to go ahead and let's take a look here. I think we had track 19. Track 19. Let's see if we'll let us play track 19. There we go. Blasting in the ear. I don't know if it's blasting in you guys. Hold on. Yeah, you guys should have. Well, I don't think you guys can hear the music, but it's Seprock Beats. Check it out. Link in the description. I know what it is. It's my streaming software. Sometimes it glitches out and it doesn't pick up my music. Oh well. All right. Good show. I'll talk to you guys later. Hey, next week, bring more people. Tell people to come on and write comments and let's talk. Let's see.